First thing I want to say is thank you so much for the positive feedback for my video on season 1 of this show. It really did encourage me to do more videos like this, so let's continue that with the second season of
Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
A lot of changes would happen for the second season, the biggest one being the huge drop in the amount of episodes that we would get, going from 13 all the way to only 3, with each episode focusing on one of the origins for the Spider-Friends. Another change would be that the episodes would add narration to them done by Stan Lee, and while some of the master audio has been lost, some other recordings are available on SpiderFriends.com. The final change is that the show would be paired up with the 80s one-season wonder Hulk cartoon that I'm still planning on reviewing, and would be booked as the Incredible Hulk and the Amazing Spider-Man Hour Block. So with that all being said, let's dive into the second season. The origin of Iceman. Our first origin is for Iceman. That opens up with the Video Man arcade being charged during a storm that also sets a house on fire. The friends are discussing a device that could probe memories but jump into action once they hear sirens. However, once they get there, Bobby's ice powers stop working, causing Firestar to create a vortex. Peter then hooks Bobby into the machine, and we get memories of Bobby being born with his powers, icing out his school dance, practicing his abilities, and trying to impress a girl with ice cubes. He comes across a woman in a burning building, so he saves her only to be met by a mob, so he defends himself before getting a mental tug by Xavier, joining the original X-Men. Bobby becomes dedicated to showing people he's not a bad guy, and ends up trying to take on Spider-Man to get a reward from J. Jonah Jameson, only for Spidey to show him how much of a backstabber Jonah is. Bobby says he's extremely worried as the arcade brings Video Man back to life and he attacks the trio, but Bobby's powers fluctuate once again as Video Man uses his powers he's never had before as he retreats to the Bugle, attacking Jameson. During the fight, Iceman is depowered and Firestar begins losing her powers as well, while Video Man is absorbing more power from the electricity around him. Jameson is seen stuck in the arcade, but our heroes use AI to track Video Man's next attack, and so they leave Bobby behind, heading to ESU to stop him from draining power. But instead, he brings to life a video game, UFO, and Pac-Man parody. Spidey finally figures out what's going on as Video Man is draining the mutant's powers for his own, so with his geniusness, the three of them trick him to giving the powers back while his creations destroy each other, and him saving a trapped Bobby and Jameson. The second episode is Along Came a Spidey, and you can't have a season of origin episodes without the origin of Spider-Man. So we get this episode that starts with the Shocker breaking out of jail. The friends are quick to jump into action while out with Aunt May, but during the fight, Aunt May happens to get hit with a piece of ceiling debris. Peter then goes into his past with Bobby and Angelica. We see his lack of anything outside of brains that leads to his nerdiness and bullying by Flash. It then of course goes into the science exhibit that leads to him being bit by the spider and gaining all of his amazing abilities. He then dons his first mask to make money as a wrestler, getting an offer for TV as well as making his web shooters and his outfit. We see Peter becoming too cocky, leading to Uncle Ben's death. Again. And Spidey tracks the killer down, learning his mistake. Again. Peter thinks he might give up the mask, but his friends remind him why he does what he does. With May awake, it's not quick before the Shocker demands Spider-Man. While our villain gives them the runaround at first, the three of them work together and eventually take Shocker down. The episode even ends with May saying maybe it isn't as bad as she thought. And the final episode is A Firestar is Born, creating the origin for the show's original character, Firestar. We now go to her origin as Bobby grabs Angelica to go somewhere as Spidey deals with a couple of thieves. The duo tells Spidey they are on their way to an X-Men reunion, but after they leave, Juggernaut appears saying he wants to take down the X-Men. And after a tussle that goes nowhere, Spidey decides he has to warn the X-Men. Firestar and Iceman then meet Storm.
Members. Wow. Hi.
Me too, Bobby. Me too. Then they meet Wolverine, who has the Australian accent from the Pride of the X-Men show, as this was sort of the backdoor pilot for that show, which I've already reviewed on this channel, and you can check it out in my One Season Wonder playlist. We then finally go to Angelica's backstory, seeing that she had a childhood bully who treated her poorly, from excluding her from playing in the snow, to dolls, to ruining her campfire, but her heat powers are getting more uncontrollable. Once she learns she can fly, her father has a mishap at work that forces her to save his life. We then go to senior year as Bonnie frames Angelica of stealing a trophy, so she creates the Firestar persona to follow Bonnie and prove that she was innocent by embarrassing Bonnie in front of everyone. She then meets the X-Men, who recruit her to the team. Back in the present day, Spidey is still dealing with the Juggernaut, who interrupts Firestar's story, causing a final attack where the X-Men get their butt kicked until Spidey arrives to save Charles at the last second. The Spidey friends then work together to easily take off Juggernaut's helmet, which to me made the X-Men kind of look terrible, but with Juggernaut taken down, the two groups of heroes begin to celebrate the original story and not retold origins. I have always loved Firestar as a character. And I will be honest here, I don't think I really have much more to say that wasn't already said in the Season 1 video. So with that being said, I do plan on finishing this deep dive once we get into Season 3.